Long-awaited Indonesian Long Stay Program was introduced in February 2023. So now, almost a year after the introduction of that program, we're going to evaluate how that programs really work and what are the benefits of it. Hi, I'm Jovana from Nomad Capitalist, where we help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and their families legally reduce their taxes, protect their wealth, and go where they are treated the best. And for many people, for many years back, that was Indonesia. So especially the island of Bali. And unfortunately for many people, Indonesia didn't have long stay options. It did have different immigration options, usually based on a work permit or a large investment, but it didn't have more affordable long stay options. So for many people who were living in Bali, what they were frequently doing is get in on a visa on arrival that give them access to Indonesia for 30 days and then extending that to additional 60 days. Nowadays, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be bothered with those extensions or different sorts of visa runs. You can apply for this long stay program. So what are the requirements? You would need to deposit in Indonesian state-owned bank 2 billion would be Indonesian rupees, which is approximately $130,000. Obviously, variations are possible, but it is around that amount, usually between $130,000 and $140,000. Or you can purchase a luxury property. So what the luxury property is, and there is a lot of confusion about this. Usually people think that they can use the same 2 billion Indonesian rupees to purchase a property, but that's not possible. It needs to be luxury. When it comes to Bali, which is really number one destination for many expats living in Indonesia, luxury property is classified as every property that costs more than $1 million. So it is a way higher requirement. Besides the property value, it is also required with proof of ownership. So leasing a property that is kind of generally worth $1 million, you leasing that for obviously a much smaller amount is not enough. You need to have something that is called hak pakai, which is a right to use property. It is slightly more difficult to get one. Obviously, it is expensive, way more expensive for what the program is. If you think that that is your forever home, you want to stay there for an extended period of time and obviously want to invest in that property, go ahead. But there is a lot of issues around ownership, given that foreigners in Indonesia cannot own freehold properties. So you would need those additional permits, and those can usually be very difficult. So if this kind of long-term stay is genuinely interesting for you, and you do have funds to support both options, we would advise going with deposit in Indonesian bank, and then obviously renting out something that you wish instead of hassling with this option at the first place. Due to the nature of its application that is online, many people are wondering if that is the same as visa on arrival. That, as I said, is 30 days plus extendable for additional 60 days, giving you in total 90 days stay in Indonesia. So this is a long stay permit. This is also a non-work permit. So you cannot, with this permit, you cannot work or perform employment in Indonesia. You cannot work for Indonesian companies, and you cannot receive your salary through Indonesian system. So the process is relatively straightforward. And it starts with an online application. Before that, you need to set up an Indonesian bank account. It needs to be in government-owned or state-owned bank. They're generally relatively good and similar between themselves. So it starts with, first of all, setting a bank account. Can be facilitated by different agents there. Then starting your online application. For the online application, you need to be outside of the country. So start that online application. Really, a couple of documents are required. Copy of passports, valid for a minimum of 36 months. So you need to have a longer validity of your passports. In most of the cases with other programs, it's 6 months up to a year. This one is 3 years, 36 months. So you need to have validity of your passport for that period. You also need to attach color photograph, your CV, and proof of funds on your account, on your Indonesian account. So once you submit that application, it generally takes up to 10 days for government to get back to you with answer and process that application. Once you have the answer, you have 90 days to go back to Indonesia and finalize the procedure. This option is really interesting because through it, you can also add obviously spouse and kids, but also your parents as dependent for the same amount of money. So you can sponsor their visa. So kind of the second step in this process of getting this visa is to actually travel to Indonesia and realize basically your permit. So again, even procedure there is pretty straightforward. At the airport that you're landing, there is a special line for ETAS holders. You should go through that line. They will take your pictures and airport immigration will stamp your passport. And this stamps means that you'll have 90 days to actually fund your account there, purchase a luxury property, and show them that you qualify for that visa. So you have additional 90 days to finalize bank transaction or in case of real estate, to finalize real estate transaction and obtain those permits, which is why I said that probably real estate option is not the best. You're working under a very specific timeline, which is 90 days. And in some cases, that might drag for a relatively longer period of time. So you will kind of be anxious whether you will manage to collect and get that document right to use before those 90 days expire. If the 90 days expire and you haven't funded your bank account or you haven't purchased the property and obtained those licenses, then your visa will be canceled. This visa option is valid for 5 years. You can, but you don't have to live there if you don't want to. You can just have it just in case and occasionally visit it. And it can be extended for additional 5 years. So in total, it has a validity of 10 years. First renewal, you need to start at least 3 months before expiration date in order to basically follow the procedure that you did the first time. So it's apparently the same procedure. We'll still see 5 years from now if they introduce some changes. But based on what it is the same procedure. In total, 10 years of stay in Indonesia, you will get under this visa. As I said, it's a non-work visa. You do not have a right to work for Indonesian companies and perform activity from Indonesia under this visa. If you want to do that, then you need to apply for different types of visa, including work permit, but this is not one of them. The Indonesian tax system is very favorable, but in order to become a tax resident, you need to live there 183 days or really demonstrate a closer connection. They are kind of known that they are not very strictly checking. We do believe that's going to change just because of so many foreigners are using that system and kind of avoid living there full time without paying any taxes. So they were built up as support over the couple of next years to really be able to effectively check taxation of people who live there. So consider yourself warned if you are doing that right now. Whether you're interested in Indonesian second home program or any other immigration option, or you're still in the process of thinking, where could you relocate and obviously how you can structure your business affairs and your taxes, go to Nomad Capitalist apply page and start your journey with Nomad team.